Um, this is Jesus series part 3. Jesus has eyes that can see people's faith. It may look abstract, but to God, it is something that can be seen, touched, and even handled. Anytime your faith anytime your faith becomes visible before God, then you have set yourself up for a miracle. Matthew 9, verse 2. Jesus can know people's thoughts even when they have not expressed it as words. He can pick your thoughts and discern who you are. It is impossible to hide something successfully where he is, except he chooses not to talk about it. Jesus can know people's thoughts even when they have not expressed it as words. He can pick your thoughts and discern who you are. It is impossible for you to hide something successfully with him, except if he just chooses not to talk. Matthew 9, verse 4. Jesus is a caller, and the only way to become a follower is to follow. Any other way you respond to his call without following will rob you of being a follower. Matthew 9, verse 9. Jesus mingled with sinners so that he can strangle sin in their lives. Jesus mingled with sinners so that he can strangle sin in their life. He mingled with sinners so that he can kill sin in their lives. No discrimination. Everyone is allowed to access Jesus as long as faith is not lost. Sinners are sicklers. They won't get healed until Jesus is exposed to them. Sinners are sicklers. They will not get healed until Jesus is exposed to them. Matthew 9, verse 10, and also verse 12. Jesus did not expose his disciples to some things because he wanted them to build enough stamina from him to do it when he is no more with them. Jesus did not fast so that you won't fast. He fasted so that you can do the same. There are some people, they don't believe in some things. They say, oh, I can't fast because Jesus fasted so that I will not fast. It's not true. Jesus fasted so that you can do the same. Everything Jesus did is actually an example for us to follow. Jesus was faithful to God, his Father. You also be faithful to people, especially those ahead of you. Matthew 9, verse 15. Jesus is God's complete package for humanity. He is whole, so he can bring wholeness to others. Your faith is Jesus' access to turn around your situation for the better. Your faith is Jesus' access to turn around your situation for better. Matthew 9, verse 22. Jesus is not the type of minister that shouts night and day. He is quiet yet effective, gentle yet powerful, meek yet loaded, humble yet exalted. He does not want people to praise him for anything. He prefers people praising his Father who is in heaven. Matthew 9, verse 27, verse 28, and verse 30. Jesus is a commander. To his disciples, every word from him is not a suggestion or an ordinary opinion, it is a command. If you are truly a disciple of Jesus, every word from Jesus is not a suggestion, it's not an opinion, it's a command. Matthew 10, verse 5. Also Matthew 11, verse 1 and verse 4. Jesus knows how to give thanks. He is a thanksgiving addict. Jesus knows how to give thanks. So he's addicted to thanksgiving. He's a thanksgiving addict. He knows how to thank God for every supernatural thing he sees around his life. Matthew 11, verse 25. Jesus is not that kind of minister that will build empire for himself and refuse to go out to the lost. He understands that it is impossible to reach out without going out. It is impossible to reach out without going out. Instead of Jesus sitting at home eating and drinking, you will find him out of the house, preaching to the lost and bringing hope to the hopeless. Matthew 13, verse 1. One of the favorite mode of communication Jesus adopted was the use of parables. It involves deep utterances that can humble the pride of the proud. He uses these means so that the audience will ask him questions. It is humility to ask questions, because for you to ask, then it means you have agreed you don't know enough. So it takes humility to ask questions, because for you to ask the questions, it means you must have reached a conclusion that what you know is not enough. Matthew 13, verse 34 and verse 36. Jesus teaches to understanding. He will break down hard sentences until that point where you can say, Lord, I understand. He uses different teaching methods, including questioning method, in order to bring his people into a full understanding of what he is teaching. You can see that in Matthew 13, verse 51. Some hated Jesus. They were offended in him because to them, it did not meet up with their carnal expectation. They wanted him to be a king, but he refused and chose the way of the cross. This made many think he's just wasting away, especially when they expected him to marry. They expected him to marry, looking at all the beautiful sisters around him, and he chose to be single. They wanted him to at least be a notable government worker with a high salary scale, or even have his own company where goods and services are made. But Jesus said no to all this. This was why he was not honored in his own country, because he did not carry the image or the title they expected him to carry. Matthew 13, verse 57. Jesus was a famous man. His fame was so much that even devils know he's around. Jesus was a compassionate man. Most of what he did was done out of compassion. He healed and fed people by compassion. Matthew 14, verse 14, and also verse 16. Jesus operated in a higher dimension of glory. Moses parted the sea, but Jesus did something more glorious than just parting the sea. Jesus walked on the sea. Matthew chapter 14, verse 25. Jesus speaks quality words. His choice of words are such as can heal the brokenhearted and displace fear in the heart of man. Matthew 14, verse 27. Jesus' hand is a helping hand. He won't watch you sink. He will save you from death and then correct you. He won't watch you till you die. No, he will save you, then correct you. When Peter was sinking, Jesus did not say, I told you, why do you doubt? Why can't you have faith? No, he lifted him up first. So Jesus will save you first before correcting you. Jesus will not watch you die and then condemning you even while you are dying. No, he will rescue you, then correct you, then put you through, then guide you and instruct you